What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Unnamed Horror Podcast. It has been a long time, but which I say that every time we do one now because it's always like 2 or 3 months in between. But it's all right. We're gonna start doing them a little more often now because we're getting ready for a pretty big movie premiere. And the guy sitting to my other way, right,
Yeah, yeah, you're left, I think.
yeah, my left.
Yeah.
Uh, the writer director Jason Pitts. What's up, Jason? It's been a while, man.
Hey, yeah, it's been a minute. How are you doing, Aaron?
I'm good. I'm good. Uh, got my tickets for both premieres because
Nice.
why not? So I'll be there. I'll be in Fayetteville and Hot Springs.
That'll
Um,
be fun.
yeah, we'll talk about that. When we get towards the end, how that came about, how you got those theaters and things like that, because that's pretty cool that the Fayetteville one's at such a massive theater.
Yeah.
But first, how's the post production going?
The post production is going pretty good. It's a little bit slower than we anticipated, but it's moving along. We pretty much have a locked edit. It's changing just a little bit. Little things here and there is changing. But right now the score is done, and Chuck Meir, who's our visual effects supervisor, he's going through the film, and he's color correcting it, color grading it, and doing all of the visual effects. One of the biggest and hardest things about this film is Annie Sullivan's right eye has to be colored brown through the whole thing for the heterochromia. And if you think about that, it's just like every time her face is on the screen, every frame where you see her right eye, we have to digitally change the color from blue to brown. And so it's a very, very tedious, time consuming process. So that's probably the biggest thing as far as the visual effects that we're having to do. And it's one of the things that's taking the longest. But Chuck is doing an amazing job. He's got a pretty awesome workflow. He just last night he just sent me the first like 40 minutes. All of that's been done, color graded and everything. So he's moving along. He's making it happen.
How long is the final cut going to be? Do you know, as far as time goes?
With the credits, it's going to be about an hour and 50 minutes.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that's almost two Voorhees.
Yeah, almost two Voorhees movies. Yeah.
So when you were casting, and I'm not trying to all disparage what I mean, because Annie's amazing. I got to talk to her; she's sweet as could be, and she looks like she's done a great job. But was that ever a consideration when you were casting? Was trying to find somebody with brown eyes, or I don't
No,
guess it really mattered, did it? Since one had to be different colors anyway.
yeah, yeah. For that role, one had to be blue, and one had to be brown. That was never a consideration. The original plan was to use a contact, and we bought some contacts that were brown because her eyes are naturally blue. So like in the film, the left one is normal. We didn't mess with that. It's the right one that we colored brown. But something happened to the contact. It got lost, and that forced me. It was kind of one of those blessing in disguise moments where it forced me to consider doing VFX, because that was our only option once the contact was lost, and because of I was forced into that. It opened. I started considering it more, and it opened up. I started using, my creative brain, and because of that door opening, we were able to do some other stuff with VFX that is really, really cool in the film that wouldn't have been there had we had the contact. So,
There's one thing I don't. It's not going to be spoiling anything because it's in the trailer. But that shot of Julian with the demon horns behind
yeah,
him on the
yeah,
wall was
yeah.
just such an awesome looking shot and moment in the trailer.
So
Uh,
that
Obviously, that was planned, right? To have
that
that.
was that wasn't it wasn't planned. So what happened with that is, that was kind of like just almost luck, where we were on set and we were setting up for the shot, and I was just like, Scott was walking, the actor who plays Julian. Scott was walking across the frame, and as he was walking across, and I was watching the monitor, or the monitor, I he walked through that spot, And I was like, holy crap, stay right there. That's your mark. So we marked it, and that's where he did that monologue, that scene with the horns behind him. So like it wasn't planned going into the shoot. It was just he walked through it and I saw it and I was like, okay, that's what we're doing, because it looks so cool.
So, other than weather, which was something we talked about last time you were on, weather causing issues, was there any other like major issues on set that you were like, man, I didn't see this coming?
The other than that, the weather raining us out that one day and then having to make that day up later on, losing the contact was a big one. And then day one, we had a pretty substantial injury on set that really kind of scared us and shook us up a little bit. But that ended up being okay. Those were really the two biggest things. There was a few times here and there where, when you're working with 30 people in close quarters and everyone's sleep deprived, there'll be moments where people kind of get snappy with each other. But there really wasn't anything like super big. But those were the biggest things, is that the contact and that injury on day one.
What, like, trying to figure out how to word this. These are questions just popped into my head because I got to text you. I didn't want to just like ask the same questions over again. I think it's kind of boring.
Absolutely.
So, you're shooting this movie. What's going on in your head? Like, forget about the movie for just a second. Like the movie, it's the shooting. Forget about being a director for just a second. But being as a guy who always wanted to make films, and you're on the set of your first feature-length movie, and it's not the amazingness of Alone and Masquerade and Voorhees and When the Stairs Creep, but this is your first huge movie with visual effects guys and a huge cast and crew, and and I know you guys went to Kentucky for Voorhees, but you're all on location together for an entire weekend. Was there like a part of Jason Piston went back to me like a little kid going, I can't believe I'm getting to do this?
Yes. But those moments were like in between shooting. When we're on set, I tend to like be super hyper focused. That's like when I talk to the other cast members and stuff and like kind of reminisce, they bring up a lot of stuff that I just don't remember. Like, oh, they're like, oh, you remember when this happened? And I was like, no, like I don't remember that. And I'm just, when I'm there and we're doing the thing, I am just super hyper focused on getting getting what we need done and focused on the performances of the actors and the shots and working with the cinematographer. And so those moments were like I revert back to a kid and I'm like, holy crap, we're making a movie. Those moments are like when we're not on set and we're like, back at the Airbnb that we're staying in, and we're just kind of doing our best to relax between between shoot days. There was at the end of week one, the night we got rained out, we had a kind of a big bash at one of the Airbnbs, and we had a lot of fun that night. So we kind of took a night off when we were supposed to be shooting, but then the rain came and it was a big storm. Like they were thinking it could have possibly turned into a tornado, so we called it, and then we went back to one of the Airbnbs and we watched both of the Voorhees movies. We watched Masquerade. I mean, we just had a big marathon of our films and just had a lot of fun. Played some card games, and it was a good night. But those moments where I'm like a kid and all that happen between, like when I'm on set, I can't afford to do that, and I just super hyper focused on what we're doing.
So speaking of the weather, like that's something obviously that nobody can control. It just sort of happens. So when you're getting ready to shoot a movie, and your movie calls for no rain, and then it starts to rain, but it's so like if you look at it, you can say, oh, okay, it's going to rain all week. Is there a way you can like change it to maybe just let the rain be part of the story? But then, like in this situation, it rained 2 days the whole time we were shooting. So obviously you couldn't just put that, like, let the rain appear and disappear. That wouldn't have made sense. But if there was ever a time where like you look at the weather and you go, okay, so the week we're going to shoot, it's going to rain, but it might fit the atmosphere better. Is there a way to like change something to make that happen, or you
I
just have to
mean,
avoid it?
yeah, you can always be flexible and adaptable, but you're at the mercy of the weather when you're at this level of filmmaking, like super, super low budget, shooting on location. Um, I mean, we got lucky. The first week it was supposed to storm pretty much every night, but every single night, it stopped raining, literally like um, 10 minutes before we started shooting, and then it would clear up for the 10 to 12 hours that we're shooting, and then when we wrap, it started raining again. Like it's crazy, like a miracle. It did that every single day, the first 4 days of shooting, except for that fifth one, where that big storm came in and we had to push it off. But I don't know. I mean, we had backup plans. We had scenes uh, where if it was storming, we would have moved it to where we would like the one of the big scenes at the end of the film. We had a great location for it, but it was supposed to storm that night, and so we're trying to think of ways to still shoot it. And one of the ideas was to do it in this other place that was covered. So we did have backup plans for if things happened to where we couldn't shoot because of the weather. But thankfully, that none of that happened, other than having to. And with it being that one day, we pushed it to the next week of filming, which was the next month. But I was able to condense everything that we had planned for that week into 4 days, and moved what we didn't get the first week to that last day and that second week. But yeah, you're at the mercy of the weather. So like being adaptable um, helps, but also getting lucky. I mean, I think we got pretty lucky that first week that we didn't get rained out more than one day. That week, that forecast for that week was terrible. And going into it, we were just like, we'll just have I mean, because I couldn't afford to change the dates, because the locations that we were shooting at, it was just like, this is your time frame, and you have to make it work. And changing would have been a lot more money that I didn't have. So it's definitely scary when when you see the forecast coming up and you're like, oh crap.
Well, not just the location, but you would have had to fly or bring a lot
Yes.
of back for, because if I'm not mistaken, Annie lives in LA, right? And then
Annie
Olivia.
lives in LA. James lives in Nashville. Olivia lives in South Carolina, and Brad Adams lives in LA. So I'd had to, fly them all back out another time, which is, I just didn't have the money for that. So it's just like, we have to make this work, whatever we got to do. And like I said, thankfully, it wasn't that bad, and we were able to make it work with what we had, and condensing week two to make room for what we didn't get week one.
So how did you go about, like, with everybody being spread out so far, and the majority of these people are, maybe aren't from Arkansas, but a lot of them are here. I mean, I know Olivia used to live here, and James is here a lot, but still they live in other states. And then of course Annie and Bradley still living in California. How do you go about, like, finding times? Like, do you just start throwing out dates and just like seeing what sticks as far as figuring out shooting dates to get everybody in one location? Because I'm sure everybody has their own jobs.
So for a project this big, you want to set your dates really, really far in advance, before anything's on anyone's calendar. So for this, we set the shooting dates almost a year uh, before we started shooting, and it was like, okay, we like this, like these are the 3 weeks that we're doing this, and it was literally like about a year before, so that way everyone had time to make arrangements. Yeah, I didn't really be like, hey, is this good for you? Is this good for you? Like, I just made sure to set it that far in advance that like there's no way it shouldn't be good for anybody. You know what I mean?
I, yeah.
Um, so I think that's the best way to do it. Like, my next project I'm planning on doing is called The Trial of Margaret Stone, and we just set our shooting dates for that. And it's I mean, we're starting to shoot it in December of 2025 into March of 2026. So that's about a year from now, a little more than a year. So everybody, you know, their calendars are going to be clear. I mean, we
Right.
there's no reason for somebody to have something come up because they've known that far in advance.
So you tell us a little bit about what that's going to be about. Just like a
Yeah,
little plot, real quick.
yeah. So I'm going to play with like a format. It's going to be like a mini series. There's going to be five episodes. They're going to be like 20 to 30 minutes long, but we're going to shoot it as like a feature film, and the like everything all together. The runtime will be like a feature film, but it'll be broken up into five episodes, and it's about a trial. It takes place in like the 1890s, and this young woman's on trial for murdering her parents, kind of like a Lizzie Borden thing. Very very brutal murder, and she's on trial for it. And as this trial unfolds and progresses, she more and more is pretty clear that she's possessed by a demon. And at the final episode is just crazy, insane. It's kind of like 12 Angry Men meets The Exorcist, but it should be pretty fun.
Nice. Where'd you come up with the idea for that one?
You know, uh, I was just uh, looking at some of the locations that are available to us through Julia Borkowski up in Berryville, and one of the locations is this old courthouse, and it looks fantastic. And I was like, I want to do something with this, and then I was like, well, and then that led me to like, okay, trial of the centuries, like it'd be a trial movie, and I immediately thought of like Lizzie Borden being on trial, and then I was like, okay, we can do something like that, but like what, like there's got to be something extra. And then I was like, man, it'd be interesting if somebody was like, I think I might have been watching The Conjuring 3 or something at that time too, where it's called The Devil Made Me Do It, The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. And I guess there's a possession courthouse scene. And I thought that was an interesting idea, but I don't think that movie went far enough with that. It was just kind of like um, a cool idea that they just kind of tossed in there and didn't play with it. And so I just kind of put those two ideas together.
I hate when studios do that because
Yeah.
like the Nightmare remake in 2010, which everybody universally panned, and I don't think it was a good movie either. But one of the things I did like was the whole
The
I
day.
maybe Freddy was innocent,
Okay.
maybe,
Yeah.
and they started toying with that, and I thought that'd be a cool way to restart the franchise. Like just have
Hmm.
Freddy just like he's not getting revenge for getting killed; he's getting revenge because he was wrongly accused.
Yeah.
And I thought if you're going to remake it, why not do something different? And then at the end, they just go, "Oh no, he's still a perverted psycho," and
I,
it's
I think
Freddy.
they went further than the original. Like he's definitely a pedophile in that
Yeah,
one. I don't think like in the first one it was kind of maybe sort of hinted at, but they never like it was never like, yeah, he's definitely a pedophile. He's just like,
I think Wes told the story once that it was originally planned for it to go a little further, but then there was some
mhm.
kind of nursery trial or something where these like people like they run like a nursery or something were like molesting children, or not nursery, but they were running like oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but they were running places for kid daycares, and they were
Okay, yeah,
molesting kids and stuff. So he was like, I didn't want to, people to think I was trying to copy that. So he just sort of downplayed it. But it was, he said originally that was the plan. So
that's crazy.
I
I really liked the day nap concept in the
like it.
remake.
Yeah, that was good too.
Really cool.
The micro naps, where
Yeah, the micro naps.
the scene in the drugstore was probably my favorite scene in the whole movie, where she's just like backing up.
Flashing in and out of reality in the dream world. That was awesome.
Yeah. So there were some cool moments in that movie. I didn't think the movie was as bad as everybody else did. I didn't like it, but I didn't think it was. I still didn't think it was as bad as Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, which is my absolute least favorite.
I
But
think if the makeup had been better, people would have liked it more. I think Jackie did pretty good as Freddy. but it was just the makeup was just so terrible.
Yeah, it was bad. It was.
Yeah, it was
I tried to
super, super
defend it for
bad.
a bit, but then I was like, I can't defend that. That's just bad.
No, it's undefendable,
Yeah,
and like, but I feel bad for Jackie because he gets a lot of hate. It's just like, oh, he's not Robert Englund, but I guarantee you, if that makeup had been better, people would have been way more open to it, and probably if he had done everything the exact same way but with better makeup, people would love it. I think.
I think so, too. And that opening scene in the diner. That's, the more I talk about it, the more I realize there's more scenes I liked than what I thought. But the opening scene in the diner I thought was pretty good too.
Yeah,
With Butts where he's basically killing himself, but we know it's Freddy, but
yeah.
still thinks he's killing himself. And I was like, that's a cool way to start the movie. So they had good moments.
It goes back to like Dream Warrior stuff, like
Yeah,
when the Dream Warriors died, everyone thought that they were killing themselves.
yeah. So let's talk about the premieres coming up, because you got
Yeah,
two pretty massive premieres coming up, and like I said earlier, one of them is in the Malco Theater in Fayetteville, which the only time I ever been there was when I went with you and a few others to see Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise. It's a good theater. It's a fun theater.
Yeah, it was huge, and it was really cool. And so when I heard you were doing the premiere there, how did that come about? Because that's pretty awesome.
I just reached out to their corporate email, and they actually have somebody whose specific job it is to talk to independent filmmakers and book screenings. And so I talked to her. Her name's Megan, I think, and we just worked it out. They have specific times that independent filmmakers can book screenings for their films, and it's Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. Or if you want to do the weekends, you have to do it at like 10 a.m. Before the theater opens, because they don't want to interfere with like the big uh, traffic times for like the big Hollywood films, which are like in the evening on the weekends. So you can't book those. But so I started looking at the calendar and stuff, and I was like, okay, I can do it. We can do like a weekend in the afternoon, and then with how the film is taking a little bit longer than we thought. I was just I was looking at January, and I was like, we might as well just do January 27th. And so we booked it for that. And the day after I booked it and solidified it, I put tickets on sale through eBright, and the theater that we're in has 150 seats, and they sold out in 5 days. It's crazy. Did not expect it. I thought we might sell out just because it was like 3 months away, and over time I thought it would probably sell out, having enough time to push and sell the tickets, but them selling out that fast was very unexpected. And then we did set the Hot Springs date, and that is through a connection that I made whenever we did the Voorhees After the Beast premiere down in Hot Springs. When we did that, the owner of the place, his name was Chris Ricks. He told me, he's like, this was great. We had more people here than pretty much any event we've done. Anytime you want to do another premiere, you let me know. So I kind of had that in my back pocket, and um, since we did the Voorhees After the Beast premiere down there, and so I thought I'd do another screening for the Forest of the Trees. I'm also working on a Iowa City screening and a Los Angeles screening, and then after that, I'll stop and we'll see what happens with distribution. But
Oh man, that's awesome! You get it screened out in LA. Maybe the right people will see it. And
yeah, it would be fun. And the reason I'm doing that, and I wasn't initially considering that, but I thought it would be really cool to do one out there, for Annie and Brad, because they have a lot of friends out there who want to see the film. So I'm trying to make that happen for them.
yeah, that After the Beast premiere, that was the first time I think I got to hang out with everybody, and it
Yeah,
might have been the first time I ever met you face to face. I think it was the first
I
time I
think
ever.
it was. Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. So I didn't realize it was going to be in the same place. That's pretty
Yep.
cool.
Same place, yeah.
I'll have to bring somebody for that one. Tickets are still on sale for that one, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think we'll sell out for that one, just because the venue, the amount of seats that are available is 300. It's a big space, and just with it not being the first one, and most of the cast and crew live up here in Fayetteville, so they were all like all their friends and family want to come see it. And there's really not. I mean, there's a few people down in Central Arkansas and in the Hot Springs area that were part of the film, but not near as many. So I mean, it's selling okay, but it's not. I don't think it's going to sell out.
I think I got my brother's wanting to come to that one because by the time we knew about the Fayetteville show, I was I wasn't even like I was gonna wait. I thought I could wait just a little bit longer, and then I put out a post saying there's like 20 tickets left or something. I'm like, oh crap, I better just like where's my card? Because if I don't do it now, it's gonna be gone before I have a chance to. But at that point, I didn't know you were doing it at Hot Springs, or I probably would have waited because Hot Springs is like 30 minutes for me. But still, it's going to that theater be cool, and like you said, most of the people, a lot of people live up there, so. Yeah. Chances are I'll get to meet a lot more of the cast and crew up there than I would down here.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of cast and crew there for sure.
I think that's pretty much what I had for today. I really wanted to get you on and just talk about, Oh, one more thing though. No, one more thing.
Yeah.
The score. So, was his name Simone? Is that how you pronounce it? Or
yeah, Simone. Yeah.
He posted like a preview of a couple of different parts of the score on his Facebook page, and they sounded incredible.
He did an incredible job. It's amazing.
Did you have any say so on the score, or give him any notes, or was that just?
Yeah, we did a few passes on it. For the first pass, I just kind of gave him a brief rundown of kind of like what I was thinking as far as the score goes, and then I just kind of let him go. And then when he sent me the film with the score attached, and I watched it. And as I was watching it, I was taking notes, and I probably had like a page and a half of notes off from the first run through. And then I gave him the notes, and he did another pass on it, added some things, took some things out. And I think we just went through two, or through that one. The second time he sent it to me, I thought it was pretty dang good, and we just kind of left it at that. But so we just did the original, and then one pass, and then it was good. And I think he's actually getting ready to release it and sell copies of it, which is really cool.
Yeah, I saw that on his Facebook. I think he saw it November 21st or 20th or something along those lines. He's gonna put it on sale.
He's really proud of it and excited, and he sent it out to some music critics, and he's getting really good reviews back so far. So,
was this his first major motion picture soundtrack?
Oh, no. He's very, very prolific. Let me look at his IMDb. I think he has over 100 score credits.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been doing it for a while for sure.
How'd you come across him? Did you hear something and contact
him? He actually reached out to me like a year. I don't remember exactly how long ago, but it was at least a year ago, maybe a year and a couple months. He just saw me. He saw me gearing up for it online. I think I was just making posts and just talking about it, and he reached out to me. He saw those posts and reached out to me, and he's like, "Hey, man, this project sounds really interesting. I'd like to consider. I'd like for you to consider me doing the score." And we just started, talking, and we worked out a deal. I was like, well, what are your rates? And he told me, and we talked. We went back and forth on that a little bit, and we came to an agreement. Sent me a lot of samples of his work, and yeah. So he has 194 composing film credits.
Holy, wow,
Yeah,
that's impressive.
yeah.
But it sounded incredible when I heard just he snared little snippets of it on Facebook, and it sounded awesome. It sounded very atmospheric and like it fit so well with what the movie was supposed to be. So like not that I've got to hear the whole thing, obviously, like you have, but it sounds like he did a great job.
He did do a great job, and let me tell you, man, music adds so much. And this movie is, I'm super proud of it, because the pacing, like I told you, it was like it's going to be close to an hour and 50 minutes, but the pacing is incredible. And we did a rough cut screening at the Berryville, like a surprise, because there were so many cast and crew members at the Berryville Film Festival. Like after it closed down on day one, I was just like, Julia, like there's so many of us here. Let's screen it for them and get some feedback, and so they can kind of see it. But it was very bare bones. It hadn't been color corrected. It hadn't. None of the VFX have been done, like Annie's eye, and the score wasn't there. It was literally just very raw, what we captured in camera, and the sound recording put together, and like none of the extra stuff had been done yet, and it was still very engaging. Um, People were not bored. There were a couple people there who I invited, that didn't know anything about the film. I just wanted to like hear what they thought. There's a filmmaker that we've kind of connected with, named David from South Missouri, that I invited him to watch it because I wanted to hear his thoughts on it. And it was just like, man, this is like super fat. Like the pacing is incredible, and we were like never bored. And it's just like boom, 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 one thing after another. And I felt that too watching it there. That was the first time I kind of watched it with a crowd of people, which was really cool. But and now it's almost like a completely different movie with the score added and the color correction, but in a good way. Like it's as good as that was. It's like 10 times better now with everything, all the everything, like the score added, and it just. I remember watching the first rough cuts of Voorhees and Masquerade without the music, thinking, God, this sucks. And then once the music was added, I was like, this is pretty good. But that never happened with this. Like I was like the first cut watching it without the music, I was like, man, this is good. And then with the music, it's like, holy crap, this is amazing. So I'm excited.
Well, part of that is, I mean, a part of it is the reason it's so amazing without music is obviously the writer director is really good.
It's
But then
the acting, dude.
really,
No, the acting in this
yeah,
is from everybody is incredible.
you sent me one night saying, "Dude, I can't believe how good the acting in this movie is," and you
Mhm.
sent me a little clip I got to watch, and I'm like, "Holy
Yeah.
God, this doesn't feel like an independent. It doesn't
Mhm.
feel like a small independent movie." Just watching the actors and the sets looked incredible too. Like in that scene you sent me, like it looked awesome. The acting was great. Like Annie was so believably scared, and
Mhm.
Olivia looked so awesome, and so everything looked great in that scene that you sent me. And so yeah, I can't wait to see it. I wish it was.
And the our set designer, Carla Nemec, she's incredible, and she has had a prolific uh um career in Hollywood. I don't know if you know much about her, but
Oh,
she's part of our film family, and she has worked on Terminator 2 doing set design. She's worked on The Abyss, the first 5 Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
oh
Um, uh,
wow.
Constantine. We actually had a skull on set and on Malthus's demon shrine that was in the movie Constantine. That she busted out. So yeah, so the set design in this is incredible because of Carla, and she's had an amazing career in Hollywood, and she retired here, and I met her on another film that I did like a year or two ago, and we just hit it off, and then she joined the film family, and now she's helping a lot of people with their stuff, and I can't say enough about her, but that's the reason the set design looks so amazing. It's because she that was her department, and she killed it. Yeah, and to have somebody like that with that much experience on set is invaluable.
That yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. I need to maybe reach out and see, because I do know who she. I think we're even Facebook friends, but I've never
Yeah,
got to talk to her.
yeah.
That
Look up her IMDb, Carla Nemec, Nemec, and your jaw will hit the floor.
have your movie on that IMDb
Oh,
now.
she worked on, yeah, my movie's on her IMDb now. Yeah, she worked on Twister, the first one.
One of my favorite movies ever. I love Twister.
Yeah, yeah. She worked on that. She's awesome.
So one last thing. Unfortunately, we have to end on kind of a sad note, but as you know, I saw you. Horror World lost a legend Friday night when Tony Todd passed away. What's your kind of give you like your memories of, I don't know if you ever got to meet him or anything, but like just watching his movies and things like that.
Unfortunately, I was never able to meet him. But the first time I remember seeing Tony Todd in a film was the 1990 Night of the Living Dead remake where he played Ben, and I love that movie. I loved it when it came out. I love that character, and I was like, man, this actor is going to be amazing. He like I that was kind of towards the beginning of his career, and I was like, this dude has it. He's going to be awesome. And then a couple years later, he went on and did Candyman, and just solidified himself as a horror legend. I love Tony Todd, and it's very 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 sad, but unfortunately, that's the way life is. It
Yeah,
comes
that
and goes.
one caught me off guard because I've heard of some other legends that were sick or things were going on, and so it's not a total shock. But that one just to me kind of came out of nowhere because if he was had battling illness of any kind or anything like that, I didn't know about it, so it just sort of hit me like
Have you heard of like what he passed away from yet? I
I
haven't.
haven't.
I don't know. Be interested to know. But yeah, I do like he's. I wonder he's supposed to be in the next Final Destination movie that's coming out next year, and I wonder if they filmed his stuff. It may end up being his last movie if they filmed his stuff already.
I
Mhm.
hope so because they've been working on that movie for like 4 years now. Like
Yeah,
they announced it like right before COVID, and then I understand COVID happened, so it got pushed back a little bit. But for the last 3 years, I keep hearing, and I love that franchise. I
I do
love
too, and I
other
love
or I
his
like.
his character in it, Mr. Bloodworth, is so like it's so mysterious, and this is like, how does he know so much about death? And this movie was actually, from what I understand, was supposed to go into that a little bit, and like kind of reveal the connection between his character and death. I always felt like he was death, and he was just like playing with them. Um, but
I,
I don't know.
and that for everybody else, and I love the Night of the Living Dead remake, and I do love the Candyman movies. But seriously, when I think of Tony Todd, that's what I think of as Final Destination because I went and
Yeah.
saw the theaters, and it was one of my favorite theater experiences ever was seeing the first one in the theater because the crowd was so crazy that night with all the weird deaths and stuff. And then
Mhm.
out, and he was great in two, and two's probably my favorite of the franchise.
Yeah, two's awesome. I agree.
And so, when somebody on Facebook was saying, "What's your first memory of Tony Todd?" Of course, everybody's saying Candyman, rightfully so.
Mhm.
But for
Yeah.
me, it's Final Destination. That was my first thing that popped in my head was Mr. Bloodworth and Final Destination. But rest in peace, Tony Todd. It
Yep.
sucks, like you
It
said,
does.
part of life, and he lived a long life. He did a lot of cool. He's one of those people that won't die because those
I think
movies.
they're saying something like he had 100 and he had a lot of film credits, a lot. He
Yeah, so
touched a lot. He touched a lot of people for sure. And then there's like the Star Trek fans because he did a lot of Star Trek characters, like Klingons and stuff. Like
yep.
I like Star Trek, but I'm not like that deep into it where like I know all of the obscure characters. But from what I understand, Tony Todd played a lot of those characters in like Next Generation and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Like I love you can ask stuff about the original cast and I'll know it more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But I did hear that he was in a lot of, and I remember seeing him in some. Like I would watch Next Generation here and there, but I was not like like a lot of people like obsessed with it. It was okay, but I like the original cast better. But yeah, I do know he was in it some. So yeah, he'll always be there, and but still, as a fan, it sucked, especially since the new Final Destination is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
How it's going to be an even bigger hit than it would have been anyway if he's in it because it's his last movie. So
Yeah.
but anyway, thank you for coming on, Jason. This has been awesome,
Absolutely, Aaron. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate
and
it.
maybe
And
even try.
all your support over the years is has meant a lot to not just me but everybody.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You guys are awesome. You guys make some kick-ass movies, even ones I didn't think I would like. I ended up liking, like There's Creek. So, you know.
Yeah,
Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Jason, for coming on. We're 2 months away from the movie premiering, and we may even. I think I told you I'm gonna try to do some lives from the theater that day
that'd be great.
when it comes out. So I'm looking forward to it.
And
Thank
if you
you.
want to see it, get tickets to the Hot Springs showing on Eventbrite. You can just go to Eventbrite, type in The Forest Through the Trees, and select Hot Springs, and it'll pop up.
There you go. So we got 300 seats to fill in that one. So come on.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I don't know when exactly our next show will be. I do know Olivia Disney has agreed to come on, so we just got to come up with it, which would be awesome. I've been trying to. She's such a busy person, but I've been trying to talk to her for like 2 years now. So to get on this show would be awesome.
Yeah.
And Amy Lynn will be back with me soon. She has some other stuff going on today, but thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. And have a great day, Jason.
Awesome. You too. Thanks.